We're sitting outside your old flat in Dungarvon Street in Wānaka. This is the place where the Fruit Bowl studio began. What does it feel like for you to be back here, and what sort of memories are evoked from that time that you were here?
It feels like home when I'm here. I only left recently last year, and I still get a lot of things delivered here, and my friends are still in the house. So I feel a bit sad actually sometimes, because I do miss the location, and I miss living with my friend Erin, but it also, I guess a second home is what it feels like here. And I think of the fun times by the creek in the summer, and the long days of making in that, what I now realise is a very dark lounge. Yeah.
And did you start initially with a strategic plan with what you were making at the time, or was it just coming out of you?
No. So I also, when I moved into this house, I was working at the art gallery here in town, and that kind of opened my eyes up, my brain up a little bit more as to what was possible in terms of being a working artist. So I was exploring a lot more.
And did you have an idea of what that exploration would lead to, or was it more just exploration?
No, I've always been a bit of a dabbler, so I've always wanted to try different things. But it was definitely because of working in the gallery that jewellery really grabbed me. That's where that started for sure. I was a lot more interested in, I wasn't a lot more interested, but I was more pulled towards the jewellery than the other art.
Was it a sensory pull, or how do you mean you were pulled towards the jewellery?
It was to do, I guess I started looking at jewellery differently as objects and as sculpture, and the craft of it would definitely really interest me, and then also just the whole start to finish production of it in terms of making and then selling it, for some reason really interests me. I love photographing it. That was a really fun part of the job for me. So, and wearing it, and it's like art that you can take along with you.
And specific materials then, as well as part of your jewellery work?
Nothing specific in terms of materials at that time. Yeah, it was more just like the feeling, I guess, of knowing how something's made, and then being able to wear that and incorporate it into your life was, something that grabbed me.
So you've moved from the sort of bustling metropolis of downtown Wānaka or Dungarvon Street out a little bit more remotely now, out in Queensbury.
Mm-hmm.
What does it look and feel like on your studios? What does it smell like? Can you give me some sort of sensory descriptions of what's going on in there?
Okay, so my house is quite a small space. It's just a 2-bedroom cottage with a central living space. So actually what I notice most when I first walk in is actually it just smells like coffee in my house and a little bit of wood smoke. And if you move then into my studio, I definitely can smell the dust. But that's just part and parcel of jewellery making. Like there is a lot of dust, metal, filings, shavings. I also work a lot with air dry clay and have been scratching that, and I can smell that dust as well. And paint, smells like paint because I use a lot of paint. But it's a very light and airy space as well. So I don't like those. it's not oppressive, the smells. It just smells like a place where things are made.
Do you keep it orderly? Is there like a routine that's like at the end of every day there's a clean up every week, every now and then where you can't find things where they used to be? What does that look like?
I wish there was, but I'm the sort of person that has a lot of things happening all at the same time. So, and it's a small space. So as much as I try to stay on top of things, yeah, it's a bit chaotic. There's about 10 different things in different states of unfinished all around, but every now and then I'll have a big clear up, because I actually, as soon as it's clear, I can reset and realize what's important and what's not, and things that I'm like, I don't really feel like working on that right now, can go away, and I'll come back to it, a month or a year or whatever later.
Do you put a time frame on that sort of thing in terms of when you'll come back to it, or it's there, you can come back to it when you're ready, when you're feeling it again?
Yeah.
Then it would work.
Yeah, there's nothing set. I mean, there's things that I've let sit for like 5 or more years, and I've come back to them. So, and if I never come back to them, I don't really care. There'll be something else that I'm working on.
So what's current now then? What are you working on now this week?
This week I am working on some jewellery, some custom jewellery pieces. I actually started last night. My friend, very good friend, a few months ago, her dog died. I'm actually working with some of her dog's ashes and resin to make a pendant piece for her. So that was fun. That was quite cool last night, just thinking about this lovely dog Poppy and yeah, trying to coax the resin into the shape that I wanted it to be, and yeah, it's pretty special. I've worked with ashes before, and you do spend a lot of time, like, it's quite meditative, and you're really, like, I really am thinking about that person, or in this case Poppy, and yeah, giving them some respect.
Was that initially a request that came from a client, or you started to explore? No,
I would never have put myself forward for that. But last year, someone approached me and asked me to do it for some rings, and it just felt like the right thing to do at the time. I definitely don't think, it's not like I would never go into it commercially or anything like that. It's just for the right people in the right scenarios. Yeah.
What a tremendous honour that someone's asked you to do that.
Yeah, especially the person that came to me last year didn't even know me, just felt okay about coming to me with that, and I definitely was pretty mind blown. Yeah.
How does that affect then your process? So, I mean, if you talk about a typical sort of bespoke or custom piece, that I imagine would bring a certain type of different pressure with it compared to just something that you're doing for yourself. Yeah. That then I would imagine ramps up a next level when you're talking about somebody's remains.
Yes.
How does that work on you? How do you cope with that?
I just make sure I'm in the right headspace, that I'll be taking like extra care. I mean, I can, if I want to, I can smash things out, but in that scenario I allow for needing a lot more time and just being very, very precious and not working on anything else at the same time, whereas usually I'm a bit here, a bit there, but I'm just like, this is all that I'm doing to give that piece my full attention and make sure I don't make any mistakes or I don't want to drop a crumb, you know. I want to keep them together. Yeah.
Is that also then a process that you need to go, okay, this with something like that you need to start and work on until you've finished it? Or is that also something that you would say, okay, I've started it, I'm not feeling it anymore, I'm going to have to put that aside?
Yeah. If something happens in my mind space, or there's something else I need to do in my life, then I would just carefully put it aside and then come back to it when I'm ready again. Yeah, so it's a slower process for sure.
You've described yourself as a born maker. What's the earliest thing you remember making?
So I was raised by an artist mother, a working artist mother, a ceramic artist. I was forced to make things from an early age. She wanted to work, she wanted to do what she needed to do, and we didn't really have much choice but to entertain ourselves or do what she was doing. So I don't actually remember. It would have probably been something with clay. She got us to draw a lot, and we did a lot of like cutting up cardboard and making things that way. And then whenever we had to make anything for school, she was super extra about it. Like I remember for a science project when I was about 8 or 9 or something, that I actually made a full-blown ceramic volcano, like a pottery volcano with like the pink and white. I was obsessed with the pink and white terraces. Like no other kid was doing stuff like that for a school project. So I guess it started from there, having the ability or having the resources around. She was an art teacher, so we had all the pencils and all the everything you could possibly think of there if we wanted to use it. I actually didn't want to use it a lot of the time because it was too forced upon me. If you've got nothing to do, then you should be making something, which is funny because now that's how I entertain myself.
As opposed to playing or doing what would have been the alternatives then, or reading, or what would the
as opposed to playing or hanging out with other kids on the street or something like that.
Some parents are adamant that their children shouldn't follow in their footsteps. Some parents, main thing is you're happy, do what you want. Other parents are all about perhaps their children fulfilling the dreams that they didn't quite perhaps manage to achieve. Where would you put your mother in that sort of situation or your upbringing? Definitely encouraging of anything that I ever wanted to do. She would have, she was very encouraging. She actually isn't alive anymore. That's kind of part of the story. But she definitely was very eager to pass on as much creative thinking and working as possible. Like she definitely, I can't really think of any other word apart from forced. So did you feel like you were on tracks then, in terms of like this is your destiny, that this is or were there phases through your sort of teenage years where you thought, I wonder what it would be like to work in an office, or I've always wanted to be a ski instructor, or other options, or was it clear, no, there is only one and I'm following that?
No, I was never clear on what I wanted to do or be. And I think when I was I was always told I could do whatever I wanted to do, which is all good and well, but what could that be? So no, I didn't know what I wanted to do or to be. I was creative. I did arts through high school, and I got into Elam in Auckland, and that was just, well, it was like, well, you got in, so you better go. Kind of a big deal. So I did for 1 year, and then I decided that was not what I wanted to do, and I much rather be down here in Wānaka and working in hospo and having a good old time, working hard, playing hard.
What was the expectation mismatch with Elam in terms? I mean, that's, I think at the time, I'm not sure if it still is, but I'm guessing New Zealand's premium fine arts educational institute. What were you expecting, and what was the reality?
I was expecting to have a bit more of a hands-on education. The high school that I went to was wonderful. It was an awesome school, but it was limited, and it was a smaller school at the time, and when it was just limited in what it could offer you in terms of what you could be taught that fitted in with the timetable. So if you chose one thing, you missed out, on something else because it didn't fit in. And I'm a practical person. I wanted to learn, a bunch of different new skills so I could figure out more as to what really interested me or what really grabbed me. And I didn't at Elam in that first year, and it makes sense because they're trying to weed you out, I guess, but it was a lot more. It was too much critical thinking and not enough action for me. I wanted to learn things and not just explore ideas and critique those ideas.
Was there a moment there at Elam where you felt that sort of that friction become unbearable, or were you sort of the frog in the boiling water and without really realising it, then you're having whatever that you had that you'd taken there sort of almost being cooked out of you?
I didn't feel like it was being cooked out of me. I just felt I felt it like straight away within the first few weeks. I was like, what am I doing here? But I am a person who sticks things out, so for some reason I put in my head I would stay for the year and see what would happen. I just knew straight away that it wasn't the environment for me, and I knew I would still, it wasn't taking anything away from me. I knew I would still make things, but I just wanted it to be on my own terms and not forced.
Looking back now, is there another institution or another path that you could have gone down in sort of a slightly formal kind of learning or structured learning environment, but more making oriented? Is there somebody offering that sort of option either then or now?
Yeah, I got into Unitech and AUT as well, and I really should have gone to either of those places instead. That would have been in hindsight, it would have been a lot more productive for me. But at the end of the day, it doesn't. Now it doesn't matter because I'm doing what I want to and what I need to be doing without the formal education.
Are you still in touch with any contemporaries from that time that went through or that completed the course and then have also gone on to be artists and makers? And
not personally, no. There's a few people that I sort of glimpse every now and then on Instagram who are doing well for themselves in the arts, but no. Sort of I just really closed that chapter of my life in Auckland when I came down here. Yeah.
You said that, I think I've read you, when you were working in the gallery, that was something that helped you feeling legitimate or legitimacy.
Yeah.
Where did that come from? What do you mean by that?
I'm pretty organised, sort of business-minded person, and also very creative. And when I saw how some artists like get by, and for me, a lot of the time, like, not, I guess I didn't believe in myself at all, but being in that space and seeing people be successful with being a bit useless, I was like, well, you can do both. So, like, just get on with it. Just do it.
So that feeling of illegitimacy, then,
Yeah.
that was internal. It wasn't for external, somebody telling you that you didn't have that, or that maybe was a hangover from Elam.
No. It was just a personal thing. It was just a lack of self belief, a lack of conviction in what I can create.
Does that voice come back often?
Yep, it does, but I'm also much better at shutting it down now. I'm also so deep in it that it's kind of like, I'm doing it, so shush. Like, you can, it's good to have it because it keeps you on your toes, I think.
Where did you get that skill from to be able to shut that down? Is that something that you just developed over time? Or
I think it's just maturity. It's just like being able to step yourself out of your body in your shoes and just take a little look and be like, yeah, it's okay, you're doing it, you're fine. And just remembering what I've achieved in the space of time that I've decided to take things seriously. Yeah.
There's a moment in some makers' lives where they sort of stop trying to be just one thing and then realise it's okay to be many things. Was that a specific moment for you?
Yeah, that definitely happened here at Dungarvon Street when I knew that it was time to create a website and get a little bit more proactive on that side of things. I had my friend Laura over, and Erin and I were in the house, and we did a big brainstorm session, and that's where we came up with the name Fruit Bowl, because I knew that I didn't want to be pigeonholed into anything in particular, and that whatever name that I chose for my website was that it had lots of things in it, and Fruit Bowl made sense. It was like a bowl of juicy things, juicy colourful things, but they were all different. Yeah.
And with perhaps the potential to say, no, I want to be a banana at some point, and then I'll leave the rest of the colourful objects behind, or very much no, it's not just now, this is it. I like that diversity and breadth of work.
Yeah, I cannot imagine ever just doing one thing, and like, that's just not how I operate. I would go insane. Like, I really need to be able to do different things. All the, real jobs I've had in my life, it's never been just one particular aspect. I'm not just sitting, doing one thing. I've always needed to wear different hats and have different roles and do things that are kind of all-encompassing. Otherwise, I just get bored and need to do something else.
Have there been genuine failures as part of that? So from the fruit bowl, the thing that you were really planning on having a lovely red strawberry in there, and then you realise, actually, no, strawberry's not my thing, damn. Is there anything that you're perhaps going down the path of following that then you've had to leave behind?
No. No, I mean, I'm sure there's been failures. But nothing that I can pinpoint. I don't think I get too hung up on that, on failure, because it's all part of the creative process. You can't move forward, you can't grow, you can't make things that you are really happy with without stuffing something up. That's and some of the cool things that I've made have been just from totally messing it up and then going, okay, well, how can I move forward with this? How can I incorporate, use this mistake? How can I make it better? How can I make the mistake cooler?
Very fitting to the fruit bowl is the colour. So it's not only the variety of objects, but it's also the variety of colours, which really, really comes through in your work.
Yeah.
Where does that come from?
I have always been pretty into colour. I've always noticed colour and thought about colour and appreciated colour. I think it's just how I like to live. I like to have colour in my home, and I like to wear it. I just find it visually exciting.
The body is one element that sort of seems to be a recurring theme in some of your work, like the ears for the walls and things like that. What is it that draws you to that form or those forms? You talk about the curves and the softness.
I think it's just a general appreciation for the kind of quirks of humans and our bodies, and ears are so weird. The more you stare at them, you're just like, whoa. And they're just magic as well, the way they're shaped to channel sound. It's insane. So I think it's that's definitely part of it, just the appreciation. And I guess it's real. It's something that we can all connect to. I've always enjoyed looking at figurative art, and I guess I just wanted to explore it in my own way.
Was that a part of the study at Elam in terms of the sculptures and that sort of work?
No, I think we did some life drawing in that first year, but I'm not a very good drawer. So no, I didn't really. I mean, I can draw if I want to, but it doesn't. I get a little bit hung up on drawing, to be honest. It's something I probably should practice a bit more, but no, it didn't come from there. I think it probably would have come from Mum, because she was into figures as well. So yeah, just grew up having that sort of art around me. Yeah.
You've used the words fantastical and whimsy a couple of times in describing your work in other interviews.
Yeah.
There's a slight sort of diminishing, potentially, meaning to those words. How do you see that? Is that it's not a diminishing thing for you, or is there a component to that?
I feel like recently I seem to notice it quite a lot more, the word whimsy online and in social media and stuff, and it does have like quite a frivolous kind of girly connotation to it, which in my mind, when I first used that word to describe what I was doing, was not the way I was thinking. I was thinking more like just kind of, like made up, kind of imaginative fairy tale kind of whimsy, like creatures you've never heard of, that kind of more, storybook style. But I don't mind that is. I don't find it diminishing because well, maybe it's a bad thing, but I don't want to take myself too seriously, and I want to have fun and explore ideas. I don't want to. It's just about exploration.
What's the soundtrack to your studio, and how does that vary depending on mood, what you're working on, and your journey to date with your work?
Yeah, it definitely depends on my mood. Most of the time I'm listening to a podcast of some description. But if I need a bit more focus, then it will be music. I have pretty eclectic taste in music, so it really just depends on what I'm feeling. But generally podcasts, and I do like to wear my headphones a lot rather than have something playing. I just find I can focus a lot more if I'm really blocking everything else out apart from what's coming into my ears.
Were you always a multitasker? That's not an easy thing sometimes, particularly with a podcast that I think requires perhaps more concentration to listen to rather than music, where sometimes it's perhaps easier to drift in and out of your focus while you're doing something else. Is that the same for you?
It definitely helps me concentrate. I think back to being in school and stuff, and for me to listen, I was always, scratching out a pattern or just not drawing. I've never drawn or doodled as such, but I've always made patterns as I was listening. And I don't think I can absorb things properly unless I'm doing something with my hands at the same time. If I just have to sit there and listen, I start thinking about how I'm listening. Am I listening right? Am I actually absorbing it? Can I remember what that person just said? And then I start looking at, what they're wearing, or the mind just goes all over the show. So I'm definitely multitasker from day one.
So Elam would have been pre-podcast.
Yeah.
What were you listening to there? What was the soundtrack accompanying that? Because that must have been a pretty dark period, I'm assuming, for you, particularly after those first few weeks when you realise, I think I've made a mistake, but I'm going to tough it out. That can't have been fun. What was that music then that was going on?
It was Fat Freddy's Drop. What was the album with the octopus on the front?
Based on a true story.
Yeah, that. On repeat.
Yep.
And Catch Fire, also on repeat. So those two on my... I did have an iPod then, an iPod Nano. So that was going down.
That dates it. Yep.
And then I also in Elam, for a short stint got into videography, and my friend's very good friend at the time's dad was always listening to Michael Franks. It's kind of like this quirky jazz, kitsch jazz, and I did one video to one of those songs. So that's what I think about in terms of music then. Yeah. I'll have to look that song up. I can't remember it off the top of my head.
Is that a Strawberry then that didn't make it into the Fruit Bowl, the video work, or have you come back to that now and you're doing perhaps video for socials, or?
Yeah, I guess in that sense it's what I make in terms of reels, that videography aspect comes back in. But I could have definitely gone down the film route, I would say, if that had happened, if that door had opened. Yeah.
I moved back down here only last year, and completely unexpectedly enjoyed the most creatively productive year of my life at the age of 57. What is it about this place for you that brings out that creativity? You've also talked about urban centres being perhaps overwhelming. What is it about being in a place like Wānaka and Queensbury, or is it being here rather than just a place like? It could be multiple places in New Zealand or around the world that have similar attributes perhaps, or is there something here either through the landscapes, the water? What is it here?
Yeah, I think for me personally, here is because it's home. Like, my family's here, my friends, a lot of my friends are here. My mind is not elsewhere. I'm not longing to be any other place but here. So I guess it's a groundedness that allows me to open up those sort of pathways. But it is definitely, in terms of location, it's also the pace of life, which, yeah, you could have that in other parts of the world as well, but it's quiet things, and you're not having to travel too far. There's space, there's room for, you can go to work and come home and have that time, that, I guess, energy, and yeah, you've not had like this, your soul sucked out of you by being like jammed in on a train for an hour and need to decompress from that.
I take a lot from sky, like from big sky and horizon. Is that something that works for you? And how do you deal then with the inversion? So for any listeners that aren't familiar with the peculiarities of this Wānaka weather system, where the certain combination at this time of year, sort of May, June, April, May, we get the right temperature combinations and moisture and overnight cold and things. And then you get this sort of low-hanging cloud that can hang around for days or weeks, where you basically don't see the sky, don't see the sun. How is that for you?
Depressing.
Yeah, there's not a lot of colour going on, is there? It's grey.
I mean, there's some beautiful autumn colours out there at the moment, some golds and oranges and yellows, but no, I do not like the inversion, and I always wish that's when I do wish I was somewhere else. Sky, yeah, I like sky. I think I like the water more here. That's what, the water and the mountains, the hills, the light on the hills, that stops me every single day. It doesn't matter the time of year. Just certain angles of sunlight hitting a ridge line that you haven't noticed before is always pretty impressive. But yeah, being by the water is what I find the most, I guess, soothing and resetting. And I don't know if I find it inspiring. I mean, I am inspired, but I also know that it's not something I can ever capture or recreate, so it's just like an appreciation, like a deep appreciation that, like, yeah, it's a special place.
Any conditions, or windy or mirror flat, or when we talk about water, or the tamatao and the fact that it's flowing always, mm-hmm. What appeals to you, or which sort of forms? I
love the noise, so whether it's windy or whether I'm just listening to Bullock Creek out here, which is just like a nice trickle, bubbling trickle, which I can hear right now. But also when it's still, it's a different appreciation when the water is so clear and you can see right through down to the rocks, and that the light refracting and the colours, like, that's amazing as well. So yeah, the sound, the look, and getting in it when you're in the water too, the feel, yeah, it's just amazing.
I still find I'm often exclaiming out loud to myself just about how amazingly beautiful some of the cloud colours, the hills, which I've never done before. I don't remember doing that, actually, having that need to actually sort of vocalise that feeling of joy and amazement here.
Yeah.
Do you still have that, or that
I
sort
do.
of
Yeah, I do. But I don't know if I say it out loud. Maybe if I had someone to say it to, I would. But if I was just by myself, no, I definitely think it. Yeah, there's nowhere else I'd rather be.
Yeah, no, I'm often on myself, and I'm saying it, on my own when I'm out there on a bike ride or something like that, and I'll come around the corner and just, oh, holy shit, it's just like, look at that. That is just ridiculous. It's just, yeah.
Yeah.
So you were a founding member of the Arté Collective in Luggate. Tell me about that, how that came together, that process, how that's been. That can't be easy in terms of the having a space like that, and there's some pressures and expectations, and how has that process been?
It's been wonderful. Yeah, it's been so cool. I've loved every minute of it, actually. It's almost probably coming up to almost a year since a few of the girls approached me. They'd been looking out for a space up these ways for a while. And yeah, they shoulder tapped me and asked me if that was something that I would be interested in, and I was like, hell yes, I'm interested. It's something that I wanted to do and be a part of for a long time. So yeah, I'm loving it. We work really well together, and just being able to share the load in terms of running a gallery and the time and being in there between all 7 of us is pretty awesome. Yeah.
How much of it is then a sort of a practical setup where you're kind of just working together and cooperating, collaborating, and how much is then like genuine exchange about the work and what you're doing and the processes? We
all meet together in person once a month, but we do have a group chat that's just like going off a lot. And if one of us is like in the area or passing, we'll stop in and see whoever's in and on that day. We've all got our own roles and we know what we need to do, so the like kind of day-to-day running of it just seems to tick over and tick along. We have a few conversations about what we're making and what we're thinking about, but I guess a lot of the idea is that the gallery supports us as individuals too. So I mean, whatever we are feeling like we want to do and make, the others aren't going to stop you from from doing it. They're very encouraging. Yeah.
Did anybody have previous experience with a setup like that, or were you really making it up as you go along, all of you?
No. So three of our members were previously part of a collective in Cromwell. So they had been doing that for a long time. So yeah, they've got the expertise and that sense of the systems and how that could work. And I guess as well, that collective was much bigger. We're only 7. It's much easier to manage, I think.
I'm sort of imagining it a little bit like almost like a roster system in a flat where, depending on which week it is, and, this is this week and now you've got the bathroom and somebody else is on vacuuming. Is that what it's like? Or is it very much around, though there's specialised roles and you have a specialised, and that's always your role, or that has been your role up to now as part of that collective?
Yeah, we definitely have more special roles or things that we can do that we're capable of doing. So, but if you happen to be in the gallery that day and things need done, then that's just the job of whoever's in there that day.
So what's your special brief then that perhaps the others don't have?
So I ended up with social media, website, newsletter, just marketing and communications.
Just that's quite a significant chunk of work.
Yeah.
And coming on top of your own that you're already doing. Yeah. Have the others got similar,
Yes.
such broad roles?
Yeah. And I'm not just doing it like entirely by myself. And I know that if I need to, one of the girls can help me out with things. That's just how it fell. And I have gotten better at making sure I do what I need to do for the gallery when I'm in the gallery, because yes, otherwise it is quite overwhelming for me because I do social media for my bill paying job as well, so you've got to have some lines. Otherwise it's a lot.
Let's talk about that. You have a day job, so to say, 3 days a week. That can't be easy in terms of that's time, particularly as a maker, that's time away from making. How does that impact your work then afterwards? So I think you've mentioned that one of the benefits of living perhaps a little more remotely, that you haven't got neighbours that are going to be calling the police to send them around because you're hammering in the shed at 11 o'clock at night. What does that bring?
It means that I have to be pretty structured with my weeks, and I get agitated if I lose that structure, because I know that I need to be at my job these days, get that done, and then the way I get through that is by knowing that towards the end of the week I have my time and my brain space to work on my things. But I do, not so much at this time of year when it gets colder, but I do get up early in the mornings and work on things, and I do go home and work on things at night as well. So it's pretty jam packed, but that's just the season of life for me at the moment.
What does the full-time making vision look like? Do you have a timeline for that in terms of when you'd like to have that happen, what that might look like?
I don't have a timeline. Kind of don't want to put that pressure on myself or my making to make that work. I just hope that it happens one day. I think to be a successful working creative, you can't just have all your eggs in one basket, so I will need to. I did do a bit of teaching, a bit of workshop stuff, and I can sort of crank that back up again. You kind of need to have those different avenues and different incomes streams, so you can forecast a bit better.
Do you think that pressure and stress perhaps enables work that wouldn't be enabled, or influences your work perhaps in a positive way that wouldn't if you were just completely relaxed or a trustafarian and just basically no need to make any income or ROI on your work, but just to be able to just purely create? What would that look like? Would your work be the same, do you think, or would it be different?
I think it would be different. I don't know if I would have achieved as much as I have achieved, because if I've had an idea, I know that my time to work on that idea is limited, so I just go as hard as possible, like that is all consuming for that particular period of time until it's done. Whereas if I knew that I only had tonight to work on it because I had to go to work the next day, I didn't have to go to work the next day, it might sort of languish and not evolve, but then maybe it would evolve better. So I don't know. That's a hard one.
Similar to the I think the geographical question as well, in terms of whether, like, do you think you could create in a different environment, or is there a thing that, no, this is I need to have this, that's without one I can't have the other?
No, I can create anywhere. I know from I did a short stint in Melbourne, and yeah, I tried to live there for a little while, and I was working in the wine industry at the time. I wasn't doing anything creative at all, but I just ended up buying some little pieces of lino and some lino cutters, and yeah, just had like a pencil case full of tools, and I don't think we didn't even have a kitchen table. I must have been doing it on the floor. Yeah, we didn't have anywhere to sit, so it's been in my bedroom on the ground carving up lino because I needed to make something. I needed to do something, and that's what I did there. And then I think I remember actually there was an ironing board, and I was able to do some actual printing on the ironing board. Flatmates wouldn't have known.
That's pretty hardcore. That's, yeah, no, well done.
Yeah, so no, it's not about, because I've got a base here and got all my tools and all my supplies, then I can have the freedom to make what I make. But if I was in an apartment somewhere, stuck somewhere, I'm sure I'd figure something else out to make.
So starting with your mother and then a variety of other teachers that you've had throughout your life, when you teach, what is it that you really want to pass on?
I really want to pass on that if you can imagine it, it is possible. It's just figuring out how to do it. That's what I really want, for people to know that they can do it if they really want to. You will figure it out. And just that pleasure and satisfaction of making something, accomplishing something, and being like, I did this, I made this. Like, that's really important for people to feel that, especially if they don't get that in other aspects of their lives, just to feel proud of something that they made and know that it's possible.
What's the feeling that you take from that then, from that teaching experience, from being able to pass on that sort of knowledge and inspiration? Even in a non-formal situation.
It feels like a little spark, like a little, like, yes. Like, I just feel happy for people that they can also feel happy in making things. Yeah.
Is that different messaging or different framing that you feel that you had then when you were being taught, or is that the message that you were also being given?
No, I don't think so. I think think about this. I don't remember ever having have that passed on to me, but I do enjoy passing that on to other people. I think so many people just underestimate what they can do, and if they just have a little bit of a push in the right direction, I mean, they don't have to take over the world and you know, like, turn it into their job or whatever. It's just the joy in achieving something.
What's the piece that you haven't made yet that you think about the most?
Ooh. See, that's a thing that you're not supposed to talk about.
Well, you can keep it vague. You don't need to tell me details.
Yeah, I feel like that's like the number one, not number one, but it's definitely like a creative person's thing that if you speak about it too much or if you overcook it in your brain, it's never going to happen because you haven't let it evolve in the sort of sanctuary of your space. You've put it out into the world too soon.
So there's something there that you don't want to look at yourself too closely yet in terms of naming it or feeling, but you can feel it coming, or you know it's there, or that you know very much what it is, but you're not comfortable articulating it.
Yeah, I know what it is. I just need more time. I need time to work on it and to explore and make lots of mistakes until I feel like I'm ready to present it.
If someone who's never made anything thinks they're not creative, as a lot of us do, and they're listening to this right now, what would you tell them? What sort of message would you want to give them if they're perhaps considering whether a creative life is something for them?
Just to try lots of things. You just don't know until something actually fits and works for you. And there's so many ways of being creative. If I don't really feel like being in my studio, then I love cooking. I like making food, and that's the same. You're preparing something. You're putting things together, and there's a million different ways, and you can do that in so many workshops and YouTube videos, and literally like everything at your fingertips. So it's just about taking the time to dabble and testing things out, and might go to a drawing class or something and see what that's like, and you might hate it and then go to ceramics. Just try things. You just don't know.